Hello everyone, it's your girl Skylar here today. I wanted to hop on and talk about the shadow and go into detail about why we repress it and embodiments of the shadow here on Earth today. So, for those of you who know, um, the shadow, so the shadow is heavily tied in with black magic and the occult. In fact, an argument could be made that the entirety of black magic is just working with the energies of the shadow, or the collective shadow. When you look at alchemy, you have three forms of categories, we'll say maybe, of energy. You have the sulfur, the salt, and the mercury. Now these are representative of the sulfur is the soul, the individual soul, or the salt is the sulfur is the individual soul, the salt is the physical body, and the mercury is the collective spirit. So, when somebody, say, dives into the collective shadow of the universe, that is what, and taps into that power, they would be called a black magician. People associate the shadow with evil, but let me tell you why that's wrong. There are many parts of ourself that we ostracize and cast into the shadow for many reasons. When we're born, we are a collective, we are a complete whole. As we grow, we learn what is socially acceptable and what is not socially acceptable. As we go through this, we push parts of ourself that are not socially acceptable into our shadow and pretty much deny the ability for that to express itself. Now, there are certain things that should be pushed into the shadow, or maybe dealt with in healthy manners. Like, you wouldn't want to become the expression of a school shooter fantasy, or the expression of a murderer or a rapist or something like that. That would be considered evil. But there are things within the shadow that are much less harmful than that. Being gay, being trans, owning a firearm in some circles. I particularly will dive into gay and trans being associated with the shadow, and why. I'll give examples on why this is A, associated with the shadow, and B, obviously not evil, because I'm not out here being evil with who I am. Being trans and gay, LGBTQ, is associated with the shadow, really because it is ostracized by the collective, by the mainstream. If you come out as gay, if you come out as LGBTQ, you are cast out from the quote-unquote normal processes of things. The collective whole of society does not acknowledge your existence. We'll say that the light, quote-unquote, does not acknowledge your existence. So you're cast into the shadow. And the reason that the light does not acknowledge your existence is, honestly, a lot of it has to do with pent-up masculinity, men being unable to express certain feminine aspects of themselves without being considered gay, and then that has ties back to, say, being able to reproduce, because then a lot of times guys will think, oh, well, if somebody thinks that I'm gay, I'll never get a girlfriend, and then that ties into the whole reproductive, strongly embedded biological cycle of the individual, and so they end up shunning gay as a way to preserve their sexual viability in some instances. But I do believe that is the root of the cause. Whether people realize it or not, people that would be okay with expressing themselves as gay are caught up in the few people that have damaged egos, projection of this idea. And then it becomes a culturally accepted norm to shun gay people or trans people or LGBTQ, anything. It becomes the publicly acceptable to shun the alphabet mob. But what have the alphabet mob actually done that's actually hurt someone by living their life? Not much. Are there a few pedos here and there? Yeah, but there are a few fucking Catholic priest pedos too. There are nasty people in every group, and to compare, causation is not equal, or correlation is not equal causation, and there isn't even a correlation really between what people want to say, what the mainstream wants to think about people like me. This is a made up fantasy. But because I'm new and avant-garde, I'm scary, and the fear, or the potential fear, is magnified in the minds of small-minded people. So there is a major, major, major difference between being gay and committing evil. And the reason that gay people are shunned, or one of the reasons, is oftentimes reproductive viability and acceptance into the inner circle of humanity. So, we are outcasts. If you're living within the Judeo-Christian paradigm, within the Judeo-Christian mindset, you are going to become an outcast if you are somebody who is trans. And if you are in a culture embedded with the energies of the Judeo-Christian pantheon, most likely Lilith will become your goddess. That's why you see so many goth trans girls. We are like, I would say white on rice, but that sounds a little bit too pure.